Hi folks, welcome to or welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you haven't subscribed, why? One person said that they wanted to hear about Harry and that was all I needed. Thank you very much. I was sat here chuntering to myself before I went to sleep last night, the night before, whenever the hell it was, because I was reading the catch-up thing on AOL. And it's like, I loved Harry. I thought Harry was great. He was always a good laugh. He could get away with a bit more than William could because William's the next in line to the throne and all the rest of it. So Harry didn't have that hanging over his head from the day he was born. William did. So he always had to be the more sensible one of the two. In public, who knows what they do behind closed doors, but in public, William always had to be the sensible one, and Harry could be the quirky, funny one and get away with things, and everyone loved him. Until he married Meghan, and everything seems to have gone tits up from there. So I understand he has PTSD or whatever it is from what happened to his mum. His mum being Princess Diana, in case people don't know about the British royal family. Why should they if they don't live here? And he hated what happened to his mother. And he could see that happening to Meghan and he didn't like it. And he wanted to do something about it. Now, he says he asked for help and nobody helped him. I'm sorry, you have personal protection when you're in the royal family. Don't tell me that those men assigned to you and Meghan weren't doing everything they could possibly do to keep you safe. They were with you 24/7, near enough. When you went into Kensington Palace and shut the main gate, there was always somebody there. You were always protected. The British press are nasty. You know that. They always have been. I'm not sure. See, no, I can't say that I saw the racism with Meghan because I don't buy the papers anymore and I don't read them and it's all a load of nonsense, so I don't bother. Which is what Harry should have done. Harry and Meghan should have just burnt the press when it came in or not had the papers delivered at all. The majority of people that met Meghan really liked her. And they liked her not only because they liked Harry and she was his wife. They weren't doing it out of duty. A lot of people really liked her. But then he decides that the security isn't good enough, the family aren't backing him up, and that him and her are going to do one. They're going to leave the royal family, go to Canada, and live the quiet life. What the fuck happened? Because every 5 minutes there's a story. Harry said this, Meghan said that, pictures on the front page, blah de blah de blah. I thought you wanted the quiet life. I thought you wanted to get away from all of this. Weird way you're going about it. And what really pisses me off is he did it before his granny died. He adored her. She adored him. At 21 years of age, she pledged her life to the British people, and she stood by that, and she worked every fucking day of her life until she died. Liz Truss went to see her to be indoctrinated or whatever it was as the new Prime Minister, and she died the next day or the day after. She was still fucking working at 96 years of age. Now, Harry knew that you know, law of averages, that his Granny and Grandpa weren't going to last forever. All he had to do was say to Megan, yeah, I know this is a bit shit now, but if we just keep our heads down for a couple of years, when Granny's gone, we're off. But no. So he broke that woman's heart. Then, not only that, he goes off and starts slagging everybody off. What the fuck? Shut up! Keep your gob shut. I have problems with my family. My husband has problems with his family. We talk to each other about it. That's what you should have been doing, Harry. Talking to Megan. Not the fucking paps. Not writing a book. Not doing 101 fucking interviews on the television. And not doing a Netflix series. I haven't watched the Netflix thing. If anybody wants me to watch it and tell you what I think of it, I will do. But as this far, I haven't watched it. And today's what? Is it Saturday? I've no idea. Yeah, Saturday. So I think tomorrow there's an interview with him on ITV. I'm going to watch that. So I'll do a reaction to that if anybody's bothered. If you're in a family that you think don't appreciate your wife, don't treat you with respect, you get up, you walk away. That's what normal people do. They don't then get a really long stick and start poking at them from across the pond. So this book's due out. Hang on, I need a drink. Oh, it's not open. This book's due out on Tuesday, but it was leaked. Well, it wasn't leaked. It was up for sale earlier in Spain, I think they said. So we're getting bits of the book told to us now before it comes out. One of them, Harry writes, William called me another name, then came at me. It all happened so fast, so very fast. He grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and he knocked me to the floor. I landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment, dazed, and then I got to my feet and told him to get out. Really? For fuck's sake, Harry, get a grip. You've been brought up in the United Kingdom. Have you seen how brothers go at each other here? He broke my necklace and I fell on the dog bowl. You were in the frigging army. Don't start playing the little hard done to and William's such a big bully. What a load of bollocks. And don't tell me that you and Wills haven't fucking roared at each other before. Maybe never came to blows, but this didn't come to blows, did it? He just shoved you. My brother shoved me. Really? William called Megan difficult and rude. The Guardian revealed the alleged incident took place at Harry's then home in Nottingham Cottage and that William called the Duchess of Sussex difficult, rude and abrasive. Harry told him he was parroting the press narrative about his wife. Right. I dare say that behind closed doors, she might have come across as difficult, rude and abrasive. Please don't come at me. But she's American. It's different to here. And William's been brought up, mollycoddled his entire life, with the best of everything, everybody kissing his arse. He's never had anyone tell him straight about anything. So if Megan did say something, maybe he did find it abrasive. How is that going to cause a major row? I think she's rude and abrasive. So talk back to him. No, what she meant was so-and-so. You picked her up wrong. I think you owe an apology. Oh, okay, Harry, I'm sorry about that. I'll speak to her tomorrow. No, you saved every tiny, weeny little incident to put in your book. Charles pleaded with William and Harry to stop fighting at Windsor after the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. In a tense meeting after Philip's funeral, a grieving Charles told his sons, "Please, boys, don't make my final years a misery." Can't say I blame him. I bet he wanted to grab the two of them, bang their heads together and tell them to grow up. But hey, lay all your laundry out in public, Harry. Tell the world what really goes on behind closed doors. Be an absolute twat. Harry claims William and Kate encouraged him to wear the Nazi uniform. I'm sorry. No, they would never have done that. Hang on a minute. Or maybe they said, fuck, that'll be funny. A royal going out to a party in a Nazi shirt. They didn't say, "Oh, here you go, Harry, I've ironed it for you, go wear it." It was in 2005 and he wore a Nazi uniform with a swastika armband to a fancy dress party, and it was all over the front page of the news. But according to US website Page 6, he claims he phoned William and Kate to ask them whether he should choose a pilot's uniform or Nazi one for the fancy dress party, and William and Kate said the latter, and both howled with laughter when he went home and tried it on for them. Meghan upset Kate over baby brain comment. Harry claims that Meghan upset Kate, who had recently given birth, by telling her that she must have baby brain during a phone call in the run-up to the Sussex's... How do you say that? I'm not even drunk. Sussex's wedding in 2018, according to The Sun. Well, if she's recently given birth, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. God, I know what I was like when I had my son. Man alive, they say the baby blues come in 4 days after or something. We lived in North Wales. We didn't have a car. The hospital was 30 miles away from where we lived. They'd kept me in because I'd had an emergency caesarean. So my husband was getting a bus in to see me. And then he couldn't stay long because if he didn't go and catch that bus, he had no way of getting home. Anywho, I'm supposed to be going home, and I said to them, I don't know what to do about going home. They said I can't go home on the bus with the baby. And so they said, oh, it's okay. We have an emergency fund thing. We'll get you a car if you can get something to put the baby in. So my next door neighbour had the top of a pram. So she gave it to my husband, and he was on his way with this carry cot thing on the bus. And then someone came in and said, oh, we're not sure there'll be enough room in the car for your husband because you may have to pick up somebody else on the way. That was it. I lost it. Roaring crying. And it was like, all I want to do is go home. I've been stuck in this shithole for 5 days. I just want my own bed. I just want to have a bath. I just want to get the fuck out of here and go home. And now they're telling me that my husband, who's travelled 30 miles, won't get in the car with me to come home with me. That threw me over the edge. So Meghan saying, oh, you've got baby brain and you're being stupid or whatever, of course it's going to fucking upset her. So why are you even making a point of this? I don't understand. Why is this in the book? Harry alleges that Meghan apologised, but William pointed a finger at her, saying, well, it's rude, Meghan. These things are not done here. To which she responded, If you don't mind, keep your finger out of my face. Really? He pointed at her. Woo! That warrants a chapter in the fucking book. That she was a bit, what's the word? Not abrupt. Not rude. Whatever. She was wrong. And he was... We talk with our hands. Really? That warrants a part in the book. William pointed at her. Fucking hell, if she can't cope with someone pointing at her, I'd give up for her. Harry claims that he and William told Charles they would welcome the now Queen consort into the family on the condition he did not marry her, and begged him not to do so. I can understand them begging him not to marry Camilla. Totally get it. Because their mum's their mum. And they feel she was hard done to, which she was. And that they don't think Camilla should have her place. Pardon me. Thing is, though, if you go back to the beginning, Charles fell in love with Camilla. He wanted to marry Camilla. He was devoted to her. And the Queen said, no, you can't marry her. She's the only woman he's ever truly loved. So why shouldn't he marry her and be happy for the rest of his days? Does he have to live with a black armband staring at his feet for the rest of his life because his wife was killed in a car crash? She was getting on with her life. Had she said to them, I'm going to marry Dodie, would they have kicked off and said no? I don't think so. I don't agree that Charles should have been made to marry Diana. I really don't. He liked her. He was attracted to her. He thought she was fun and whatever, but he wasn't in love with her. She was in love with him. But she was a young girl looking up at the future King of England. Of course she was in love with him. I don't see it myself, but he should have been left to marry Camilla. Okay, so they didn't have kids. Not a big deal. His brothers and his sisters have had... His brothers and his sister have had children. So the crown could have gone to them. It's not like it didn't fucking do a divert before. That's the main reason that the Queen was the Queen. Because her dad was dragged into it even though he wasn't supposed to be. So where was the big deal in saying, okay, fair enough, if that's what's going to make you happy, marry Camilla, and that the next in line to the throne would have been Beatrice or Eugenie? Beatrice. Why couldn't Beatrice have been Queen? The Duke alleges that his father did not respond to their pleas. Why should he? It's like when you look at it, when you're doing the best and you're living your life and you put your kids first and blah, blah, blah. Now they're grown up and they're like, I don't want you to marry her, Dad. Well, I'm sorry, it's not your choice. It's his life, not yours. You two were let marry who you wanted to marry, so shut up. Then the fuckwit goes and announces he killed 25 people while serving as an Apache helicopter pilot in Afghanistan. Really? The Telegraph, which obtained a Spanish-language copy of the memoir from a bookshop in Spain, reported Harry said flying 6 missions during his second tour of duty on the front line resulted in the taking of human lives, of which he was neither proud nor ashamed. He said something about he saw them as chess pieces and he was getting rid of baddies and he was the goodie. Really? One of the blokes that he was serving with has just came out on Twitter and said, Harry, shut the fuck up. Who? And the Taliban. have tweeted that they're not very impressed with Harry. It's like, I thought he wanted to protect his wife and get away from all the attention. But no, now he's done umpteen interviews, a Netflix series, written a book and told the Taliban how many of them he killed. Way to go, Harry. Then he said he'd taken cocaine during a shooting weekend by the summer of 2002 when he was 17, and did a few more lines on other occasions. He wrote that it was not fun and did not make him feel happy as it seemed to make others, but it did make me feel different, and that was my main goal, to be different. So basically, your problem is your problem, but you've put it onto everybody else. Why didn't you leave before you married? If you hated the institution, you hated how you felt, you hated your dad marrying Camilla, you hated everything, why didn't you fuck off earlier then? Isn't it? It's like Christmas times. And you say to the kids, be on your best behaviour, Granny's coming, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Your Granny's the Queen. You could have waited a few years and then left, or you could have gone a lot bloody sooner. But you thought you could get married and then stamp your feet and have everything handed to you and your wife. And then you realised that it didn't work like that. So you were sulking. So what did you think was going to happen? Did you think, oh, I'll stomp off to Canada or America, whichever, and they'll miss us and they'll beg us to come back and they'll say that they'll change everything and they'll... Either you're making a point and you're going, or you're not. Which is it? Harry asked a driver to replicate the journey Diana took in Paris before her death. Why? Why would you do that? While in Paris for the 2007 Rugby World Cup semi-final, Harry, who was 23, was driven through the Pont de Lama tunnel. It's not Lama, is it? Lama? Whatever. At the same speed as the car that was carrying Diana, Princess of Wales, and Dodi Fayed when it crashed in August 1997. Harry said there was no reason anyone should ever die inside the tunnel, adding that the drive was a very bad idea. Yours or hers? Harry claimed... Oh, here we go. Harry claims a woman passed on a message from his mother. I could pass on a message from your mother. I could sit you down and say, you know, your mum's really sad, Harry. She hates that you've fallen out with your family and she wants you to make amends with them all. And to stop blaming everybody for what happened in your life because it's what you make it. And if you and Meghan want to go away to America and have a different life, then do that. But please don't be pointing the finger at your family. Harry said the woman who claimed to have powers told him Diana is with him and that she knows he's looking for clarity and feels his confusion. What bloody clarity? He says the woman, who is not referred to as a psychic or medium, caused his neck to grow warm and his eyes to water. Really? For fuck's sake, Harry, your eyes are going to water. You're talking about your dead mother. My eyes water when I think about it. Who's advising him these days? If it's Meghan, stop. You're making him look like a fucking lunatic. According to the US publication Page 6, which obtained a copy of the Spanish version of Spare, William had felt tremendous guilt over their father's relationship with the other woman. Now see, he's throwing his brother under the bus. Why? Harry claims his brother long harboured suspicions about the other woman. It confused him, tormented him, and when those suspicions were confirmed, he felt tremendous guilt for having done nothing and said nothing sooner, he writes. Oh, that's great, yeah. Tell the world that William had a feeling his dad was having an affair and he did nothing about it and he feels guilty now. You needed to put that in your book. Why? Harry says both he and his brother were talked out of calling for a re-investigation into his mother's death by the powers that be. He adds that he and William felt the final written report on the princess's death was a joke and an insult and riddled with basic factual errors and gaping logical holes. It raised more questions than it answered, Harry wrote. So, right, all this money you're earning from Netflix and whatever, why don't you get yourself a legal team and do it yourself? The king refused to allow Meghan to join him at Balmoral as the Queen was dying. Harry said to his father, "Don't ever speak about my wife that way," according to the Telegraph. When the king had asked his youngest son if his soon-to-be wife intended to keep working as an actress, Harry said she likely was not. According to Harry, his father replied, "Well, my dear son, you already know that we don't have money to spare." Charles said the royal family could not financially support the couple and also reportedly complained he was struggling to support William and Kate. Why can't they support themselves? The Duke claims he became aware in 2015 his father was unhappy with the amount of attention his brother and sister-in-law received as it overshadowed Charles and Camilla. Well, it's going to. They're younger. Charles, apparently, was pissed off that his mother lived as long as she did, or didn't abdicate and give him a go sooner than now, and that he thinks that things should have changed earlier. Well, maybe then, Charles, step aside and let William take the role on then, if that's what you truly think. There's no law says you have to do it. You could abdicate. Your uncle did. Uncle? Great uncle? Whatever. I can't really see Charles being jealous of his son and daughter-in-law, but what do I know? According to the Telegraph, Harry writes in his memoir, Willie did everything Charles wanted, and sometimes he didn't want him to do much, because my dad and Camilla didn't like the way Willie and Kate were getting so much publicity. You're just being a spoilt little child, aren't you, Harry? Oh, and I heard this. Daddy said that he loves me more than you. Do you know what I mean? Stop being a child. He alleges that ahead of one particular public engagement, Charles's staff had insisted Kate was not photographed holding a tennis racket, writing, "Undoubtedly that kind of photo would have pushed Dad and Camilla off every front page, and that couldn't be tolerated under any circumstances." And the point of this book is what, Harry? To whinge and whine and moan about what a hard life you have? Really? I don't know what you think this is going to achieve. You were super popular. People liked Meghan. Maybe the press were writing shit, but the press always writes shit. That didn't mean that the general public hated her. You could have had a good life here. But I think the problem is you want to be Willie and Kate, don't you? And if the truth was told, before you buggered off and started stamping your feet and acting like a spoilt brat, you were probably more popular than William. Because you had that bit of edge about you. And the whole Invictus Games thing, that was amazing what you did. I think you need to get somebody else telling you what to do other than Megan. If it's Megan that's telling you to do all this, go to therapy and write about your feelings. Because it's not doing you any good. I've got a little clip to add in at the end, and it's what's that saying? Oh, I don't know. You know when somebody's really popular? Lorraine Kelly, she does a morning programme, interviews and things and that, and she's so sweet. Everybody loves her. Anyway, there was a bit where someone was telling her what was coming up about the book, and she was like, no, don't want to know. I've speeded it up a little bit because I'll probably get copyright strike for using it, but I just couldn't not because it was so funny. So, if you want me to comment on the interview, I will do. And if you never want to hear me talk about Harry again, let me know. And I'll catch you in the next one.
Into detail about his being circumcised, his brother being circumcised.
I don't need to know that.
Frostbite on his private parts.
Don't need to know about Prince Harry's willy.
Moving on swiftly.